The Spurs lost their second home game of 2015-2016 against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference semifinals last night. But really nothing happened towards the end of that game. It was pretty boring all throughout. 98 score doesn't really reflect it was that close.
Yeah, it was dragged on a little bit. A little bit boring.
A little bit?
Yeah.
98-97. No, it was
sarcasm. It
was madness. It was absolute madness towards the end of that game. How do we get to that point, though, right? So before we get into Dion Waiters and Manu Ginobili and the refs and everything that happened in the last 13 and a half seconds of that game, there was something that happened really throughout that whole game that proves 2 points that I've been saying all year long. One, LaMarcus Aldridge. You can't keep anybody like that. Like, you can't. You got to let this man release his inner basketball dominance. My God. Watch his footwork. Watch his footwork, and then watch Tim Duncan's footwork in the 2000 and 2001 NBA playoffs, and tell me it's not the same thing. It's amazing. Okay, first tweet I have for you, though, because it proves the second point I've been saying all year long. Spurs have made 2 big runs in this game. Both have come when OKC brought in Cameron Payne, Dion Waiters, and Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter is what our CEO, Cenk, calls him. And that's what I call him, too, because while he is an unbelievable offensive talent, his liability on defense is detrimental to the Thunder. He got abused by everybody on the Spurs team, just like Serge Ibaka got abused by LaMarcus Aldridge, and Ibaka's not even that bad of a defender. Okay, so now, fast forward, Francis, to a couple screenshots we have for you. This is elements number 2 and 3. That's a foul, if I'm correct, on the inbound pass by Dion Waiters. You cannot shove, but if we go right into element number 4,
for fuck's sake!
You can't step over the line.
Oh, fuck off. That's not just a foul, it's a flagrant foul. Like that is, watching that, I mean, he's thrown an arm to Ginobili, who is, yes, a millimeter maybe, and I understand, this is just, it's so funny, I watched Twitter, I watched this game intently, and I watched Twitter explode, and well, if he's going to push him, then he shouldn't be stepping over the line, and the referees should have called that. No, the referees have to be given the benefit of the doubt when it comes to a close call, like whether or not he was over that line, in any sport. But if the way that the referees have answered this is like, oh, we've never seen a foul like that before. Well, no one's seen Suarez fucking bite someone, but when he bit someone, you know that it's a foul. The same thing goes when someone pushes someone in the chest. That's where your call has to be made. So you can make excuses for the next sequence of events where everyone was just going batshit insane in the middle of the court. There was a foul on Kevin Durant, I think, by Danny Green. Then there was a foul underneath the hoop. And I'm just thinking to myself, how could you not have seen? The guy is standing right there and he just looks down the line and he just sees a guy, get out my way, I'm going to throw this pass. No excuse for me. I don't care what the inches were that Ginobili stepped over the line. That was the first foul. The possession should have been in the Spurs ball, but I'm not salty.
You're correct. No, you're not salty, and you're correct. Look, we've done clips on this before. I don't blame the refs. I don't think you blame the refs either. When it comes to it, and the reason for that being is play better through the first 47 minutes and 47 seconds, 46 and a half seconds of that basketball game, that you don't need to be in a position like that, that the refs can decide a game in that factor. I've always said it, unless it's Kings versus Lakers in Game 6 where it was actually fixed. No excuses to blame the refs. But having said that, you can blame fans, because you can't do this either. Element number 5, here's a fan actually grabbing Steven Adams' arm.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean, look, there's home court advantage, and then there's actual home court advantage.
This is taking Drake's, just the ability to broadcast how close Drake can get to people. And this is what's going to happen, is if you think it's all right to be that close in someone's space, which basketball runs the risk of anyway with having floor-side seats, then you're going to have this risk. Don't know why that was Americanized.
Who are they sponsored by?
They were sponsored by Spit Clean. The floor is clean using spit. I don't know. But either way, is that you run the risk of having that close of your fans that close to it. It doesn't happen in any other sport, I think. Yes, I think it's probably true. No sport allows you, like a sport as I would say is aggressive and back and forth as that, to be that close. There is no barrier. Right. There is no barrier. If someone wanted to come in, by the way, realistic here, someone wanted to come into a basketball game and cause harm to a player, there is very little that they could do to stop them. No one do it. Please don't. But the way pitch invaders happen in football and they have to run across the stewards to tackle them, you just could get to whoever you want, and that's where this happens.
I think the reason there's not many invaders in basketball games is because no invader is going to be like 6'9",
like
body LeBron or body LaMarcus Aldridge.
You're probably going to get trucked at one point, but I'm just saying it's a point to take into consideration.
No, that's a solid point too, because there is really no barrier to entry to really get onto the floor as it is, and they are close. But yeah, you can't hold a fan, and look, that fan, that gone. You can't. They got
even in golf. There's a rope. Don't touch Tiger. Yeah, you can just shout at him. Happy jackass.
Jackass. That fan, truthfully, banned. You can't let him back into the stadium after that. That's totally messed up. And I know, he just grabbed his arm. That's a legitimate interference to a game. And I don't know how you can hold back Steven Adams. He's a huge man. Yeah. But it was just like, here, grab my arm.
So I'm ready to throw some bold points out here on the game as a whole. Because I was texting you during it, and I texted you one word, LaMarcus. Because you talked about it. I give you so much credit. He is a caged animal. He has had seasoned blue balls. He was ready to just be unloaded, and Popovich has unloaded him. And he played phenomenally well. But do you know what I was surprised by? Is Kawhi Leonard, who I am a huge fan of. His shot selection in the final moments of that game was poor. Yeah, he rushed some of the shots, he rushed some of the passing. Tony Parker had a chance to even it up and drive to the lane, but he realized that Ibaka, who stands probably double his size, was closing in on him, so he ended up coming back out. And at that point, the Spurs' ability to be mechanical and find the easiest shot suddenly didn't work in their favor, because I think they had easier shots to take, but wanted to move the ball. And by the way, OKC seemed to take a leaf out of the Spurs book and find that easier shot in certain times. You'd expect Westbrook to just to pull up and take a shot that maybe wasn't the best selection, but I thought that OKC did a good job of finding the open look, and that's how I think they got their successful done. But you're not going to get the Spurs shooting that percentage in the next game again.
No, look, that's the thing. So in the game one, we saw, if Westbrook and Durant shoot 20% from the field, you're not going to have a chance in the series. And if the Spurs go on and shoot 70% in the game, of course you're not going to have a chance in the series. But in game two, flip the script. Thunder got off to an all-important quick lead. And that's huge. Durant was hitting threes, forcing Popovich to take timeouts, forcing the Spurs to play a little bit more rushed than they are accustomed to playing. Because in a possession-by-possession game, a slowed-down game, the Spurs are going to destroy you. That is how they're going to work all 24 seconds of the shot clock. They're going to find that shot. But if they're down 10, 15, 20 points early, they have no choice but to, try to get Danny Green open on the three-point line or Kawhi Leonard to try to cut into it, or B, find a way to really get defensive stops and turnovers, which Kawhi is capable of. But again, you're going up against Westbrook and Durant.
But the last point I wanted to make, which is going to ruffle all the fellas, which I know you're a huge fan of Greg Popovich.
I do like him.
The more I come into the sport, the more I grow to love great coaches. I love great coaches in every sport. And every great coach has their way of handling the media. I just want to pose the question is, why is there not more coverage around Greg Popovich being a sore loser in his press conferences when you see Westbrook sore loser when he doesn't respond as well? When you see Cam Newton in American football,
that's actually
sore loser.
You know what? I was going to disagree with you until you made that point. That's fair, because we do look at Pop, and a majority of us look at Pop and go, that's just Greg Popovich being awesome, being Greg Popovich. But then that same majority will look at Cam Newton and go, it's Cam Newton being a baby in the press conference. That's Russell Westbrook being a baby in the press conference.
And the same thing is, like, I don't want to allure to racial prejudice or anything else on that, but I'm just trying to think that when you're asked a stupid question, you have every right to give a stupid answer. There is, like, Draymond Green was dealt a stupid question, he responded it very well. Popovich, I watched the press conference after the game. He was asked maybe one stupid question, but the rest of them were just reasonable. But he just wasn't given, like, these people are there to do a job, and I will give so much criticism to people who are involved in the press when they ask questions that just don't deserve to be there, like a question about a flood when it comes to a basketball game. Just regardless, you don't even need to ask that question. But when you're asking questions just about the game, like, what was your decision making, what was your thoughts, and you're just basically getting just, I would say almost, I don't want to be so harsh on it, but it was just like a dickish response. And I just kind of thought to myself, I wouldn't even ask a question then. I would even go to the press conference, and I know they're held accountable. They need to go. But when that comes to it, I would just be like,
take the fine.
Well, just take the fine, because you're not going to give anything other than just somewhat just like negative responses to people who are generally just interested in how you're coaching the game.
When the league comes out tomorrow and tells you they blew that offensive foul call on Manu?
No, it won't mean anything if they do that. Game's over. you were talking to the refs, did they explain anything to you that?
No.
Did you think there should have been a whistle?
Something certainly happened on the sideline, I thought.
The only thing that he was trying not to do is if you criticize a ref in a press conference at all, you get fined.
Yeah.
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Yeah,
Are
do
you
the
only
Marshawn
here so you
Lynch.
don't get fined? There you go. Yeah, I'm only here so I don't get fined. Comment below if you think about Spurs Thunder Game 2. Game 3 heads back to Oklahoma City on Friday. The Hawks almost pulled one out on the Cavs in Game 1, but LeBron and Kyrie did LeBron and Kyrie things. So 1-0 series in favor of the Cleveland Jameses. Comment below, like, favorite, subscribe, at Francis_Maxwell on Twitter, at JasonRubin91 on Twitter, at Francis Maxwell Host on Instagram, and at TYT Sports on Twitter. We'll see you there.